Hey guys, I'm down here. This is going to be my chapter review to One Piece 494 Mummy. Now, this was a badass chapter. One where we got to see Luffy's development yet again as a leader, but also as a kind of person and as an individual within the world of One Piece. Now, this has gone back to kind of my older style of reviews where I've broken it down into scenes and I've kind of scripted it up a bit in terms of what I want to say. So let's get right down to it. It should be a little bit shorter, I'm hoping, but let's see how it goes. So the first scene, which I've deemed kicking ass, in this first scene we don't get much information really, just visuals of Luffy, Kikunojo, Kawamatsu, Raizo, Hyogoro, and even Chopper kicking ass. And what we do see though is Daifugo, the Scorpion Smile dude, and the other Beast Pirates purposefully aiming at the rest of the prisoners, at all of the other prisoners, with their plague shots. And the other prisoners are all weakened, they're malnourished, so they can't really avoid any of it. They're taking these shots and they're being infected and it's being spread everywhere. And I love the fact that Luffy and Chopper in particular, because he sees that they're using what's it called, bioengineered weaponry. I've forgotten what the actual term is. It's illegal, but it's even in One Piece it seems to be a very frowned upon thing, especially from Chopper's point of view as a doctor. But I love the fact that Luffy and Chopper do a combo heavy stamp here, as the Udon Liberation Team essentially tries their best to attack the individuals shooting these plague shots into the crowd. Apologies for all the noise. Noise is quite windy outside and there seems to be a lot of vehicles going by. But in this moment, we see Raizo throw some keys towards Kid, a very sullen Kid, sat next to a laughing Killer. And Kid watches as Luffy and company continue to throw down, probably wondering himself whether it's worth continuing now that his best friend has been affected by the cursed smile. And one thing I want to say without, obviously, well, it's a review, it's going to spoil the chapter, but kind of jumping to the end of the chapter, I feel like Luffy's speech and his rallying of the prisoners of Udon wasn't just aimed, it was aimed primarily and in particular and from Luffy's mind at all the prisoners, but I feel like it would have affected Kid as well. Seeing Kid's face, that's a face we never see Kid pull. He's always like either laughing like manically, either ready to fight. He's never sullen, and he was sullen this chapter, depressed, broken down. And I feel like this kind of rallying call is gonna reanimate and rekindle the flames within Kid's heart, and he's gonna be like, you know what, forget this shit. I'm gonna kick some ass. I'm gonna bring Killer with me. I'm gonna do whatever I can to heal the guy or cure the guy. We're gonna go out swinging, and I feel like this will really have amped up Kid as well. So the second scene, and this kind of made up the bulk of the chapter, and I've named it aptly, "Renewed shall be blade that was broken." Daifugo explains what this plague virus does, what these plague shots are doing. And what they're releasing is this virus which causes a high fever, and it makes it feel like the infected are on fire. That's the level of fever we're talking about. Like literally their skin is burning away. I don't think it's actually just the fever. Their skin seems to be burning away. With blood spouting out of their noses, their mouths, any orifices. We didn't see anything coming out of anybody's booties, but I don't think we actually went that deep either. But these individuals that are infected, they become withered. They look like husks of humans, which is why the disease is very aptly referred to as mummy. And I thought this was pretty dark for Oda, to be honest, showing the infected lying on the ground within pools of their own blood. But it was a good turn and shows that it shows what type of crew we're dealing with and what type of people they are. And this is where essentially we go back to the prisoners and feeling the lash of the metaphorical whip bite at their backs once more. The prisoners listen to Babanuki and Daifugo, deciding to fight against Luffy and company once more. And we then have the prisoners start to blame Luffy and company for everything that's happened. Their arguments really having three main points that I could break down. There were probably more points if you wanted to break it down further, but these were the three umbrella points that I could come up with. So the first was, if Luffy and company hadn't come, none of this would have happened. So the prisoners could have gone about living their normal daily lives if the protagonists hadn't shown up. The second was, even with the 9 red scabbards, Kaido and his crew are still too great to defeat. They tell Luffy and company to just look at the destruction caused by one of Queen's inventions. How can they hope to match this when this is nowhere near the Beast Pirates' full strength? You know, this is just something that Queen invented on a whim. and this is what it's done. How can you hope to match that? And finally, if Luffy and crew, the outsiders that they've been designated as, if they hadn't shown up, then everything would be fine. The prisoners would be fine. This is suggesting that Luffy, as an outsider, has no right to come to this country, to country's aid, or even to interject from a moral standpoint. It's not his country, so he should bugger off. And those were kind of the three main points that the prisoners bring up. And this is where Luffy goes full badass. Why is there so much noise? But this is where Luffy goes full badass, gripping all of the prisoners advancing towards him, taking on the mummy virus himself, and bleeding from his face, giving a huge speech to renew these broken blades. He strategically counters all of their arguments while also taking on their pain himself. The pain being, he takes the mummy virus and the destruction it's caused. Luffy takes it all on with the prisoners. He's there alongside them with the mummy virus, and he shows that this will not break his will, nor will it have him cowering in his boxes in the corner of the room. This shit ain't gonna work on him. And Manga Stream, that was kind of one of the liberties they took. They translated it as that, and I was like, you know what, Manga Stream, that was a solid translation. It just added more to Luffy saying that, you know, this shit ain't gonna work on me, rather than just saying like this will have no effect. It really added to the point. And I'd like to point out here as well that everyone's concerned for Luffy here, especially Chopper, because he's gonna have to deal with this shit when they capture Udon, which they do at the end of this chapter. For real though, Luffy's in a bit of a pickle. I know his immune system is great, but this is a completely new virus, unheard of virus, and has been bioengineered by a madman. I'm hoping we get to see Chopper have to put in some work to fix Luffy up a bit and fix everyone else up a bit, or maybe realize that Queen wouldn't have made such a lethal virus without some sort of antivirus, right? I mean, like, just scientifically speaking, as Queen wouldn't, if it had affected him, he really would need an antivirus just in case. You know, if he slipped and he punctured his skin with the virus, he'd be like, yo, shit, I need some of that antivirus right now. So I'm hoping there is some sort of antivirus that they can just stab into Luffy, or Chopper himself develops an antivirus. Luffy then makes his next point, telling these once proud warriors that their wills have been broken, direct opposites to the samurai that Luffy has met on his journey to Wano and on his journeys in Wano so far. And I'd like to point out that Luffy is referring to the 9 red scabbards, or the 9 red sheaths, whatever you want to call them. So he is also reminding the former samurai, which is what these guys are, of the fact that, you know, the pride that you see in the 9 red sheaths, the 9 red scabbards, this was a pride all of y'all shared at the same damn time. You had that same pride, that same power, that same willpower that they had 20 years ago and they still have now. So he's showing to them, he's like, remember what you were, and you can be that again. Luffy's next point is that following orders and being rewarded with dango like animals, and seeing that as your normal daily life, is everything but normal. That's abnormal. Slamming the prisoners to the ground, he tells them what they've become and what they are. You've become slaves. For samurai, this would have hit hard, because knowing, nothing is more shameful than dishonor for a samurai, I think, and being worthless, broken down slaves with no will or desire. That's the key part. With the lack of any will or desire to stand up for themselves once more, dishonors the image of the people that they used to be. So this is something that I feel really would have hit hard for the samurai. And Luffy's final point is about him being an outsider. He tells them of his promise to Otama, a girl who gave her food to Luffy, and how he made a promise to her saying he would make sure that nobody in Wano would go hungry again. Once again, this tugs at their heartstrings because of 3 kind-of-ish reasons. Luffy's actively defending a resident of Wano, a young girl, which would always pull at the heartstrings of like older men, possibly because of their daughters and stuff like that. And he's trying to free Wano from the clutches of despair because of this promise to a girl. And then the third thing, the prisoners did not have the will to stand up for this cause, and most likely feel ashamed because of it. So his last message to the prisoners is this. He knows Oden was great, but the country came to a halt as he died. Luffy is here to defeat Kaido and get the country moving again. You know, all those gears which have ground to a halt. He wants to get them oiled up and moving again. So let's do this. So Luffy has inspired them in terms of their love for their country, in terms of their love for their people and how an outsider would be willing to defend their country and its citizens. He's inspired them as warriors, telling them that they're broken, but he knows what they used to be and what they can be again. He inspired them as a servant leader, taking on their pain and becoming part of their situation, show that he will stand and lead them if they so wish. Or awesome strategies by Luffy. And then he finally offers them an ultimatum. Fight with me or fight with Kaido. You can only do one. With tears in their eyes at the thought of being given a final chance to defend or to redeem themselves in the most honorable way possible, which is restoring their country and its people to the glory they had before tyranny had set in, the samurai have been reforged. Hyogoro amazed at Luffy's leadership. So that was the bulk of the chapter. And a solid scene showing exactly how Luffy has grown and his understanding of people's pain and what to say to them in these situations. So the final scene, this is my boomstick, is where we see why Luffy's crew always trumps other crews, apart from like someone like Doflamingo. Babanuki prepares to shoot a plague shell at the crowd while they're all distracted, prepared to kill even his own men. So this is the situation where like Luffy would never have done that. Doflamingo would never kill his own crew, at least his main guys. So Luffy's advanced Kenbunchoku no Haki allows him to foresee the shot that Babanuki was about to release. So he ties a knot in Babanuki's trunk, causing the shell to backfire and explode all over Babanuki. That dude gotta be dead. Like, he is so dead at this point. If he comes back from that, oh, that fix up, bro. I mean, like, this guy is dead. There's no way he should be coming back from that. With that, Luffy tells the prisoners and his friends that they could clean up the rest, resulting in their capture of Udon. We now have 8 days left before the final battle. Luffy best recover from this in an acceptable manner. Same with all the other infected with the mummy virus. And that's it. That's been the chapter. So let me know what you guys thought of this review. Let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I really enjoyed it. This was like a solid 8.5 out of 10, probably a 9. And that's about it. I'll see you guys in a bit.